College football is forever changing. The game that we all love is different. For better, for worse, that's for you to decide. So in this video, I want to talk about how the future of college football will continue to change and how that might affect college football, the video game, especially college football 26. But from a college football aspect, I don't think I love going to 14 teams, man. Like, it's just going to water down the regular season, man. It's going to make the regular season essentially less valuable. You could be a worse team and make the playoffs, and I feel like we kind of ran into that issue this year, man, especially with a lot of blowouts in this playoff. It wasn't super entertaining. The national championship didn't get all that many views because it wasn't even that entertaining. You have teams, the two teams that made the national championship, if we had that 4-team format from last year, none of those teams would have been in the playoffs at all. And, you know, you had them teams playing in the national championship. Shout out to Ohio State for actually winning that thing. But this whole 14-team format, the 12-team format, is cool. I just don't think I love it, man. It's going to lead to a lot less competition, especially during the regular season. And I think we're just going to see more blowouts in the playoffs, man. So I don't love the whole idea. Maybe they'll do it right, though. Maybe they'll actually pit the best teams in, and they'll actually... But what is obvious, it changed, man. From 5 years ago to this past year to current day to what the game's going to look like a year from now, it's going to be very different, man. If y'all do enjoy the content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, man. Go over to my Twitch, drop a follow. We be live streaming over there. Also, we got the Temple series going in the background. Make sure to check that out. So obviously, over the past years, we've seen changes with playoffs, man. Went to this new 12-team format. How did it work out? I mean, honestly, it was solid. I'm not going to say it was amazing, not the best thing in the world. The top 4 teams with the bye all lost, so it's definitely some flaws with the system. But we definitely can expect to see more changes to the college football playoff format, man. Expanding to 14 teams, 16 might be a little bit too many. We may see that one day, but I think we definitely see the 14-team format at some point, whether it's next year, probably not next year, but within the next 2 to 3 years, we're definitely going to see that. And the first thing my mind goes to when it comes to college football, what if we're able to decide what format we want for our dynasty? Like, why can't we do that? Why can't we decide if we want the 4-team, the 12-team, 16, 14-team? Hey, maybe we go back to how they did it 10, 15 years ago, go back to that format. Like, why don't we just have all options in the game, man? That would add a whole nother element. That would be a lot of fun. Account for a lot more strength of schedule and just not letting these teams get in that, you know, they won a lot of games, but who did they really play? You know, that's got to be a reality here, man. I'm interested to see how EA loops rev share into college football and if they even put it into this next video game. So it's coming. If y'all don't know, it is coming, man. Revenue sharing with athletes is on the way, and it's guaranteed. It's going to happen. What schools do it, how much they pay their players is all up in the air. So for EA to put it in the game, that will be the one question mark, is like, how will it work? Because we really don't know. You know, some schools will have a $20 million budget for that whole athletic department, and, you know, 75 to 85% of that might go to the football team, while that other portion goes to all the other athletes on campus. So in a video game, that could be, you know, 17, 18 million, somewhere in that ballpark, going to the football team. So in EA, in college football 25, 26, 27, how does that look? Do it look like a salary cap? I hope not. We already got the salary cap concept in Madden. Cool, it's fun. I hope we don't get that concept in EA, man. They got to get creative. They got to figure out some type of way to put in the game where it still makes sense, where NIL still plays a factor, because you have the whole revenue share and the players still could get NIL, which is different, but now they'll actually be getting paid by the university, and NIL will essentially be kind of separate. So how do you pit both of those things in the game and have them work? Also include the transfer portal, have revenue sharing for freshmen, recruits, commits, all of it. It's going to be super interesting how they do it. I think it's safe to assume we'll see EA do things a lot different with the transfer portal, man. I don't want to say it was a failure. It's the first time the game been back in 10 years. It's a very good game, but I think the portal just leaves a lot to be desired, especially in the video game compared to what the portal is in real life. In real life, you got thousands of players entering the portal. In the game, you'll get 200 sometimes, man. Literally, you'll get like 200 players in the portal, which is that's extremely low. And then also the amount of good players in the portal in the video game is often not that many, especially after you ascend past the first couple years. So what I expect at least is for the portal to be 2 windows. You know, we need 2 windows in the video game because think about it, we get that encourage the transfer window, and then a lot of players get sent in the portal. Some of these are good players. You know, sometimes I'm forcing starters to enter the portal. I'm forcing good players, good backups to enter the portal. If I'm a smaller school, if I'm, you know, a 1-star school, I could use maybe that second string player over at, you know, Notre Dame that they forced to enter the portal. He might be a starter on my team. So I think in the video game, we definitely will see that second portal window. In real life, they might even go down to 1 portal. We'll see. You know, they've already reduced the windows by, you know, a couple amount of days, couple weeks, whatever. We might even see them go down to 1 window. A lot of people are advocating for that, and that's what we got in the game currently. So I expect to at least see that change made. I also expect EA to increase the amount of things that make a player into the portal. In this video game, it gotta be like playing style, coach prestige, playing time. You know, there's not enough deal breakers to make a player into the portal, and that's why we don't have enough players entering the portal. If you're a 5-star player and you're in your 3rd, 4th year and you're still a backup, even if your deal breaker is staying close to home, you should enter the portal. You know, it should be some element of having good players that want to make the NFL, that care about pro potential. You care about pro potential, but you've been a backup your whole career. You should maybe want to jump in the portal sooner rather than later because you need to play games and a good amount of games to actually, you know, capitalize on that pro potential you want so much. So the next thing that changed and will continue to change over time is going to be this transfer portal, man. Just in the past year, we've seen it change, man. It went from 45 days, the portal being open, at least that first window, it went down to 30 days. And then also the second portal window is down to 10 days being open. We've seen that change over the past year, man. The portal in general is new. It only been around since what, 2018, 2019, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's fresh, man. We're still in the beginning stages. We'll continue to see this thing change every single year, especially with NIL, all of those things happening. And like, is it really legal to offer another player, you know, millions of dollars to come to your school? It's not supposed to be legal, but it happens. So how do we see that translating to college football, the video game? We're going to have this whole year of seeing how the revenue share actually works, see how it plays out, but it's not going to be in the video game that we like to play. So that portion is going to be a little bit annoying, but I totally get it. Like in the current game, we don't have NIL at all because they kind of mentioned NIL is forever changing. There's no, you know, so there's no good way for them to put it in the game when they thought it was going to continue to change. But now we kind of feel like they left out a big portion of college football, even though people don't like NFL NIL and how it's playing out with athletes, players forced entering the portal, players are, you know, not playing, doing this, that, whatever. NIL is doing some nasty work, but for it to not be in the game just don't sit right with me because it plays such a big role into the current day football, man. Gotta be in the game some way. I'm a little bit nervous that like the timing of everything, man. Timing is super important, and developing a game takes a long time. So the fact that this stuff is coming out now and, you know, the game is also being made right now, I'm a little bit nervous that we're not going to get all these features in the game until 27. And that's going to be annoying because, and then lastly, I want to talk about conference games, man, because we talked about the playoffs earlier and, you know, that impact. I even mentioned how the top 4 teams with the bye all lost in that first round. It's like you're almost at a disadvantage if you win your conference and you get that bye. And now you coming off rusty, you gotta play a team. You know, it's almost you at that disadvantage. But also, if you go to your conference game and you lose, you almost better off not making the conference game and getting into the playoffs and hosting that first round game instead of losing your conference game. And now you're forced to, and you'll have some people say that, you know, NIL is in the game, it's brand exposure, it's your recruiting hours. That's not NIL, man. I understand the concept, oh, NIL is your recruiting hours. I kind of get that concept, but brand exposure, not close, man. That's not close to NIL at all and how it plays out in real life. Be out of the playoffs because you dropped off. So it's like the conference game is almost Like, it's like, do I want to play in it and, you know, potentially lose and drop out the playoffs? Or if I do win, you know, okay, cool, I get the first round bye. But we see what happens when you get the first round bye. So the conference game is definitely something there. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer, because you want the conference game to be valuable. You want the team to play for something. You want the conference game to have some impact on you making the playoffs. But at the same time, it gotta be some solution there. Y'all smart, man. Y'all let me know down in the comments, how do we make this work? How do we make the conference game still be valuable, but still also have, like, you know, a reward? And maybe the answer is you win your conference game, you host the first round of playoffs. You know, maybe that should be the answer instead of getting that first round bye. And when they expand to these 14, 16 teams, maybe that will be the answer. But other than that, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and go over to my Twitch, drop a follow over there, and click the video on the screen now for my temporary build.